Well, good morning to you. I am so excited about the gun that I've got to preview for you this morning. And I'm calling it a preview because I hate to call something a review of a gun if the gun is new. I really think if you're going to call it a review, you need to have thousands of rounds downrange, some experience, run some different scenarios, different loads, different things. And so this is a preview today. If you guys have been following the channel for a while, you know that my very first video I ever made was in regards to wanting to get a Henry Big Boy. And I was asking the viewers, hey, the Henry Big Boys come in these different calibers. Would love to get a Henry Big Boy with a matching handgun that I would use personal protection or even for woods carry, various things like that. And I got all these different suggestions. Man, as many calibers as Henry has, I had suggestions for. And recently I was thinking to myself, you know what, with the advent of the Henry Big Boy, I got one right here, with the advent of the Henry Big Boy and making them so, one, they've got the side loading gate, also with able to suppress. A lot of the guys, I saw them running 38 specials with suppressors on these Henry Big Boys, and man, they were like mouse fart quiet. Like they were, I mean, usually the hammer landing was louder than the actual boom of the crack of the gun. And I got thinking, man, maybe I should go that 38 special 357 Magnum route. And then I thought, well, I haven't seen anybody running suppressors on the 45 Colt. And I said, well, you know, what makes the gun quiet is, one, the suppressor, and two, the ammo being subsonic. And when it comes to subsonic ammo, you're already capped at how many feet per second you can run subsonic ammo, because if you go over it, it's no longer subsonic, right? And so what creates energy is, you know, the speed and the weight. And so if my speed is capped, in order to create more energy, I can up the weight. Well, one of the things about a 45 Colt is we're going to be slinging a lot more lead than your 38 special. With your 38 special, you're looking at 158 grain up to maybe 180. With a 45 Colt, I mean, you're just starting at 200. I mean, you can bump it up from there a little bit. You know, I've got some 225s right here today that I'm running, But so if I'm capped at my speed and I can increase my weight, I increase lethality, increase energy. And so I was like, well, that's a plus for the 45 Colt over the 38 Special and 357 Magnum. But then let's swing the pendulum the other direction. So we got the subsonic advantage there, but what about the supersonic advantage? Well, you know, you got a couple of options once again with the Henry Big Boys, everything from the 327, 357, 41 mag, the 44 mag, and the 45 Colt. Well, typically when you think 45 Colt versus 44 mag, you think in terms of the 44 mag being the big boy, even though it's not quite as big in terms of the bullet itself. A 45 caliber bullet is actually 45. A 44 is 0.429, so it's, you know, you're kind of boosting your stats when you say 44. It's really a 429, you know, there you can hand load for the 45 Colt and make it, you know, just as hot, if not hotter, than the 44 mag with a little bit more weight. So you've got a range of versatility. This is my theory and why I went 45 Colt now, and I'm still in the process of testing some of these theories, and my idea is, man, if I can get something that I can suppress, you know, and run at that subsonic load and have just as quiet as the guys who run 38 specials, but then load something hot and run just as hot, if not hotter, than the guys running 44 mags, I believe this 45 Colt may just be the most versatile of the Henry Big Boy line. Now, I'm sure some of you guys are already thinking in the comments, well, Modern Mountain Man, if you were looking for something you could run hot and something you could suppress, why didn't you go bump it up one level and go with a 45-70? Good question. I'm glad you asked. The big difference here is, part of this project is this is going to be a rifle that not only that I have fun with at the range and do some hunting with myself, but it's also going to be a rifle I'm going to take my kids hunting with. And for a youngster just starting out, I'm probably not going to start them out on 45-70. And so all those things, those philosophical truths that I brought out earlier about running subsonic with heavier bullets, absolutely applies to 45-70, and definitely to the supersonic side of running them hot, because man, you can run some hot rounds through a 45-70 and in the same exact platform, just slightly larger. That's another reason why I went with the big boy as opposed to the 45-70 that's similar to this one, because this one is much shorter, much handier. I've already put this one in my 8-year-old's hands, and it's almost the perfect length size for him. So that's some of my philosophy of use, why I picked a 45 long Colt. Now let's get to some of the actual preview of this firearm. One of the reasons why I'm a big fan of this guy is, check this out right here. Got a knurled thread protector here so that you can suppress this. So we can suppress this gun. I've got a suppressor right now that is currently in jail. So as soon as he gets out of jail, we'll put him on here and start running him. And man, I'm looking forward to seeing whether my theories hold true about how well we can suppress this guy. Those of you who've been following the channel for a while know that about this time last year, I got the Henry 12 gauge turkey shotgun. And one of the things I have absolutely loved about that gun was those fiber optic sights. And once again, this gun has those same fiber optics. It's got the green there, and let's see if I can get in there for you to see it, the red right there. Get you from the shooter's view of it there. You know, this red and the green, the contrast there, man, to my eyes, I get pulled right into the red and get pulled right to the green. And my eyes focus on that green so quick. I've loved it on my shotgun, and thus far, once again, brand new, but thus far I have loved it on this gun. Dry fired it in my basement a ton until I got it here to the range today, ran some of my hand loads, and I'm absolutely loving these fiber optic sights. Another thing that's really cool about the Henry Big Boys is with the new Henry Big Boys, the Big Boy X, and then the Henry Big Boys who have come out recently, not only do you have the tube load, but you also have the side gate load here. Let me demonstrate real quick. So you pull the tube out just like that, and if you look right here, if you look right here on the tube, you can see the rim. And it's almost like the shape of a bullet right here. So if you didn't know what to do, bam, it goes right in. And what's cool about it is you can just keep loading them up. And if you lose count of how many you've put in there, or if you weren't ever told what the round count was on it, you just keep loading them up. And when finally one of them is just barely showing right there, you're done loading. So even if you're like talking to your buddies, you lost count of how many you put in there, you're good to go. So you've got that aspect of it. You just put it in there and twist it, and there's a little peg that you just get it back in that notch. You've got it in there. So right now, I've got my tube full, none in the chamber. Now I can rack it, send one up, and now the gun is live. Let me lower the hammer out here just for sake of safety. All right, so hammer's back down. The gun is live. There's one in the chamber. I want to top off, but if I don't necessarily feel comfortable pulling tube and having my hand out here over the muzzle, one of the cool things about the new Henrys is we got side loading gate. So now I'm all topped off. That's also, man, if you're out there shooting, you need to do a tactical reload on your lever action, you can load it right back up. Let me unload this guy real quick. Got all these new advantages here of the suppressor, the fiber optics. You've got the advantages of both tube loading or loading from the side gate. show you one other thing that's really cool about this one. You've probably already noticed that it's got a synthetic stock that on the front end of it here, you've got a little pick rail, and you've got M-lock slots on both sides. Now you say, Modern Mount Man, what do I need to mount on a lever action? Why would I even need a pick rail or M-lock or any of that sort of stuff? Well, who knows what application you're on it for. You might live in a communist state where you're not allowed to have semi-automatic rifles, and this might be your home defense weapon right here. So maybe you need lights, lasers, man, even a tripod. I'm considering putting a tripod on this one, even though, man, this isn't my long-range precision weapon here. This is 45 Colt, still 45 Colt, but one of the reasons why I wanted a gun like this to suppress is, man, there's some places that I might be taking out a deer where I need to be a little quieter. Like it's a place that I'm allowed to hunt, but it's near enough to people that I don't want to disturb them, stir them up. And so I'll be suppressing it, but I may also be kind of walking in on my belly, and it might be good in a prone shot to have a little tripod out here. So there are endless options. One of the things that I'm going to use this M-lock slot for, I have a 360 camera, and so I can actually mount an arm on here, and my 360 camera will view what I'm shooting at and view my face. So if I do some cool hunting action, not that I necessarily want to see my face while I'm hunting, but if I take my son hunting or my daughter hunting and they shoot a deer, how cool would it be to capture not only the kill, but their face and their reaction when they shoot the deer? So that's one of the things that I love about this little setup here. And I'll be honest with you, I'm as young as I am, I'm still an old school guy. And there was part of me when the X first came out, I'm like, what are we doing to the lever action? But this has grown on me so much. I love this setup. And one of the other things that I've loved about the X model is there's been something that this sort of broke the mold for a lot of lever gun guys, in the sense that there is an aftermarket supply for this gun and for some of the other Henry guns. That, man, there are people that are making other forends, making other stocks. They're out here making just little side carriers for spare ammo, so you're shooting and you got to do tactical reload and throw it in there real quick. You've got all that sort of stuff, man. So once again, this is just a preview of this gun. I'm sharing why I got it, some of the things I like about it already. I'm going to be, like I said, rocking a bunch of different hand loads for this. The hand loads I've got with me today, got some Starline brass and some Hunter Supply ammo, and I believe this is a little gun that I have in here. I'm running these pretty hot today. I'm gonna see how far I can push a 45 Colt in terms of velocity and all that kind of stuff. And then I'm also gonna see on the other end, when my suppressor is ready to rock and roll, how quiet I can get it. So just want some feedback down below. What are your thoughts on this project in terms of the 45 Colt being a more versatile round than we give it credit for, that we could run it subsonic and we can also spice it up a little bit? Give me some thoughts too on, man, if you're a reloader, some resources you have in terms of, man, a lot of 45 Colt is going to be subsonic already, but that's subsonic out of a 45 Colt revolver. What about a 16.5-inch barrel? Is it still going to run subsonic out of that, or do I have to dummy it down even more? The other thing is, man, what do you got for spicy rounds, man? I would love some direction and some feedback on that. Man, if this gun turns out to be all that I hope and think that it is in terms of the versatility of the round, I already know it's a good gun. I've already been running it. Man, the action is smooth. I'm going to roll some footage in here in a little while of me shooting it. Man, the sights are awesome. The feel of it is awesome. So I know it's a good gun. I'm not questioning the gun. I'm questioning my philosophy of the 45 Colt. But if my philosophy turns out to be accurate, man, we're going to dress this gun up. We're going to go space cowboy on it. We'll put some of the cool rails on it. I'll be looking for some sort of a red dot or a prism optic of some sort to put on here. We'll dress it up. We'll talk to some people and see what we can do to hook this gun up. But for now, I'm just running it as a test. I'm going to run my suppressor on it. We'll see what we can get out of this gun. But let me know what you think. Until next time, God bless you, and go take your mountain.